Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome to those of you who are here and those of you who are watching online. I know some of you are watching there also. My name is Dana Cole. I have been a photographer since 2003. I started my journey in Dallas, Texas. 2005, 2003, I started. 2005, I went professional. Um, I'm super nervous, so I'm going to do this very scared. So, yeah, bear with me. Um, so, let's just go a little bit into my beginnings. Like I said, I started in 2003. My studio was in my apartment, like my living room, and that's where I did most of my work. Back then, MySpace was the social media app. It wasn't Facebook or Instagram, everything we have now. So that is where I would post any work that I took. My first camera I got as a gift. I was not on the trajectory or plan of being a photographer. I was actually getting ready to go to culinary school, so I was thinking about being a chef. And then I got a camera, and I really enjoyed it and just started taking pictures. My first photo job I got was from someone who saw my work on MySpace, and they were like, "Well, how much do you charge?" And I was like, "Wait, I can get paid for this?" And so I was like, "Well, just give me gas money for my car, and then I will photograph you." And that's what they did. And after that shoot, I um, went home and sat down. I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something that I could make money at, even if it's just part time. So then I took it from there. So I'm going to show you guys some of my beginning work. Let me make this. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so this is some of my early work. A year into me photographing. As you can see, even back then, excuse me, I'm sorry. Even back then, I loved color. I loved trying to get creative. All of these, except for the top right and the middle, were done in my living room apartment. So I didn't have the quality, or I guess, or where I am now. I can look back at these and laugh, but when I took them, I thought they were fabulous. So, yeah, so this is some of my early work. And this is about 2 to 3 years into me photographing, still some of them in my apartment. But around this time, there was a local photographer in Dallas who I really admired his work. And then we we shared a studio together. So some of these are then from the studio, from the new studio that I had. I was very happy to get out of my living room and into an actual studio, and I never looked back. So this is some of that work. Again, you can still see the color, playing around with different textures, makeup. That has always continued with me even until now. So I want to go a little bit over how my creative flow works. Um, and for me, it starts with inspiration. And I can find inspiration everywhere. I can just be walking down the street and see a red skirt, and something about that red skirt will pop. And then I will, can plan a whole shoot around that red skirt. That will be like the focal point of the particular shoot that I'm going to do. There are other places that I find inspiration as well. Am I echoing? No? Okay, sorry. So there's Pinterest, Instagram, Behance, Fashion Gold Rogue. All of these places are places I look at weekly. There's so many different talented people, photographers, graphic designers, illustrators, all of these people you can find and get some type of inspiration from. And that these are places that I myself get inspiration from, as well as photo books. I do have a few favorite photographers that I like. And I do have their particular photo books if I'm in the studio and I'm just feeling a lack of creativity, or I just want to be inspired in that particular moment. I will reach out for those photo books. Some of my favorite photographers and whose books I actually have. Number one is going to be Christian Schuler. If you do not know of him, definitely look him up. He is fabulous. His wife is a costume designer, fashion designer, so they work together very well. She designs the outfits, and he does the photographing. So he is one of my big inspirations. Tim Walker, I think we all know who Tim Walker is. I love his out-of-the-box thinking. He's not afraid to just go for it. It may look silly, it may not, but I like that about him. That's something I also like about Christian Schuler. They have these really big, huge, elaborate sets that they do, and I really enjoy that. Last one is going to be Zhang Jinga. She is not as elaborate as they are. What I like about her is she has a love for florals in her work, like I do. I really love including flowers into my photos in some way. So yeah, that is why she inspires me. So definitely look up these three photographers if you do not know them or have not heard of them. Okay, so this image is one that I recently photographed, and this is something that I was kind of inspired to do by Christian Schuler. This is the type of stuff that he would do, but on a much bigger scale. I don't have his type of spending budget, so I do it lightweight. So this particular image, I really enjoy this. I actually just had it printed so it can hang up in my studio. We had the model Sophie. We went outside, and the thing at the top there is a forklift. I wanted the backdrop to go a little bit higher than my backdrop pose would allow. So I thought it would be cool to put a forklift up there. Also, we did a few where she was hanging from it, so it did serve a purpose for that as well. I had my two assistants hold the fabric towards me, as you can see, and this is what we got. I really enjoy this. That's not actually a dress. That's just a dress I made, so out of fabric. So I really enjoy this, and yeah. And if anyone has any questions or want to say something, you can. So this is just a little behind the scenes of that day, just so you can kind of see how things went. So the fabric, I had a few people think the fabric was added in post, so I had to say no, we were actually holding it and waving it that day. And this is just two other pictures from that. The one on the right is from her hanging on the bar. Okay, so this is another favorite shoot of mine, especially the one in the middle. I really like this image. We also did this on the same day of the last one you just saw. So we did that one first, and we just turn to the other side, and we did this one. And I forgot to mention both of these are natural light, so there was no strobe use here. We just went outside. This one I just had the model in front of a gray backdrop. Now the funny thing with the hat, and my assistant is here actually who helped me with this. So I was looking for a big red hat because I knew I had a red skirt. I could not find one that was this big that wasn't like $500, and I did not want to spend $500 for one shoot and one hat. So we got a little bit creative. I did have a small red hat, and then I went and purchased some felt, and we literally taped the felt onto the rim of the hat to make it bigger. And this is what we got. I painted her hands red, so those aren't gloves, that's actual paint on her hands. I thought it just gave it a bit more of the Dana Cole look. And yeah, this is what we came up with. And just to show you guys the hat, because you have to see how we rigged it. You have to improvise sometimes. This is personal work, yes. So this is an older shot, but it's still one of my favorites. I was very much channeling Miles Aldridge with this. He is a photographer I really admire as well. This particular shoot we did this was a corner, then this was, we did 3 sets on one wall. So this is like one corner, then there was another set, and then another set. So this particular one took me about a day to set this up, but everything you see was actually there on shoot day. We laid down like little checkered patterns of can't speak today, sorry, of construction paper to make the floor. And then the walls are just different color backdrops. I painted the chair purple because it was just like a regular wooden color. And yeah, then I had my stylist style the model, Zanab, and this is what we came up with. I really enjoy this picture. So this is another image I did outside. Noticed all these first images are from natural light. So this is natural light also. Natural sunlight out in my studio parking lot. Again, I put the model in like one of those little kiddie pools. And I had her, it was so small, only her top half could fit in it. So her legs were hanging out of the pool. And she was there. I filled it up with just a little water. I didn't want to completely cover her in water. And then I laid down black felt so you can see the blue bottom of the pool because I wanted it to look black. And then I just placed roses all around her, as you can see. And the makeup artist did great. And this is what we came up with. And this is actually printed really big in my studio, so I really enjoy this image. Do you
practice before, or you just do the model? So did you test it out before the shoot?
No, I did not. And that day, because generally I'm in my studio. I'm a mainly studio because I really like control of my lights. So. On this day, it was sunny, and then it was cloudy. It was sunny, and it was horrible. So it was like 10 minutes, it was sunny, and then we tried to get the shots, and then cloudy. And I took some with the clouds also, but they had more of a colder look due to them being cloudy. But I really liked the ones with the sun out. So we just kind of sat there and waited a little bit until the sun came back out. So, so this shoot is another one that I really, really enjoy. Yes, that is real pancakes on her head. I wanted to see if I could get creative with food in a way. And And then I saw some pancakes, and I was like, okay, well, can I make a pancake hat? Can I make it look cool? And and this is what we came up with. So I bought a little silver platter, and then I put the pancakes, like 10 pancakes, in a little circle, and I put a little rose on there, and I had some little tassels, as you can see. And I placed that on her head. The dress she's wearing is not really a dress. Again, it's just some cheap fabric that I bought from the fabric store. I wrapped it around her. I painted her hand white. And then I painted my hand white, and I just slapped some fingerprints, some handprints on the dress. I kind of wish I would have went a bit lower with the handprints, but it is what it is. And this is what we came up with. I really like this image. And a little behind the scenes for this, because when I photographed this, I was outside and the model was inside, just right at the door, because I wanted to get the natural light, to get that natural light look. It just looks a little bit different than strobe sometimes. So it just depends on, what you're looking for. So that's my makeup artist holding the hat. Yeah. Okay, so after I have my inspiration, the next thing for me is going to be mood boarding. I'm pretty sure all of you guys are familiar with mood boarding, storyboarding. You can get as elaborate as you want or not when you're doing your mood boards. These are some of my earlier ones. I don't necessarily get this creative with them anymore. Like, I would actually put these together in Photoshop. But nowadays, it's just like a Pinterest board. Just so my team knows what I'm thinking, and we're all on the same pattern of what's going to happen. And of course, that can change on shoot day. It sometimes does. We might want to change the makeup or change the hair, whatever the case may be. So this is my next step of mood boarding. Okay, so picking model, next comes for me is picking my model and team. So for beauty and fashion and so forth, what I do, your model is very important. Very important. They can literally make or break the shoot if, the makeup is great, the hair is great, the lighting is great, and then the model comes to set and doesn't deliver. And that can just mess up everyone's, it's kind of wasting time if the model can't do what they need to do on set. So I am very picky when it comes to choosing the talent, model, male, female, whatever the case may be, whoever's going to be in front of the camera. I'm very selective and very picky on that because I do not want my time wasted. I do not want my stylist's time wasted. I want everyone to have a successful shoot so we all get great images that we like and we can use. Or in this case, if it's for me, if it's for a client, generally I don't book the talent for clients. I do get to book the stylist, but yeah, so even if it's client work, I try to stress to the client, don't skimp on the model, get a model that's going to produce images that you need for your company.
And how do you know that? What are you looking for exactly? Is it quality or is it look or is it?
Yeah, it's a bit of all of that. The look, depending on what the concept or theme of the shoot is. I look at their past work, Instagram. You can do, all models are on Instagram. So you can do a little bit of homework on the models, see what they're posting, see how they're moving, because models these days, they're posting their candid self, they're posting them walking, catwalk on a sidewalk, they're posting all of this. So just doing a little behind the scenes legwork and what you want out of the model. If you want long neck, if you want expressive, not expressive, all of these type of things. Okay, so next up is going to be lighting. And that can sometimes come before picking the models and whatever, but in some part of my creative workflow, I'm thinking of lighting. Like I said here, that is a major part of what we do as photographers. We are light shapers, and we are problem solvers, whether the problem is a problem of ours, or it is a client's problem. We are, meaning they're needing images, and thus they're coming to us as photographers to solve that problem of them needing images. And I take great pride in that. So, how you can get better at lighting, how I got better at lighting. Again, I started in 2003, 2005. There was not YouTube. There was not Instagram. There was not that many of us sharing the knowledge back then. So it was a bit tougher, earlier before now, to try to get better quicker. So I just, practiced a lot in my living room. But now, there is YouTube. There's people like me. I have a YouTube channel. I talk about how to set up lights, how to do this and that for other photographers. I have photographer friends who do this as well. Behind the scenes videos on Instagram, IG stories, there's so much wealth of knowledge, and we're all just sharing it nowadays. So I feel like it's much easier now to get better faster if you practice. And I love that. I love that everyone's just sharing the knowledge and we're all growing. You can also assist other photographers. So, I have some beginning photographers who assist me, and they learn from me, hopefully. And that's a good way to do. You can also find a mentor. If there's someone that you like in your area, you can always contact them and see if they would be, see if they mentor. And workshops. I personally have not had my own workshop. I do host workshops and has been to a few of them where I bring in other photographers from out of Norway. And those workshops have been great. People really enjoy going to them and they learn a lot. My light setups for my work are usually very simple. I'm generally using one light for a lot of my work. I do at times also use, lately more I've been using two lights because I like to have an overhead light these days. So I will have one overhead and then I'll have my main somewhere else. I do also use three lights, mainly if I'm wanting like a white background or I'm using colored gels. I really like to use colored gels in my work. I think they just give it a fun, different type of look. And again, practice makes perfect. I feel like that's the best way to learn lighting. Just get out there, and whether you are using the natural lights and trying to figure out how to shape that to your needs, or if you're actually using strobes, just practice, and yeah. Okay. So my gear, I use. So in June, I became a Nikon Z creator. I'm very happy to be part of the Nikon family. I am enjoying it thus far. I am using the Nikon Z7 II. It is mirrorless. It's my first mirrorless. I really enjoy the camera, actually. It's super. It took me a little bit to get used to, but once I did, it was perfectly fine. And I'm pairing that with the 24-70 and the 105. So these two lenses allow me to do my portraits, they allow me to do beauty, and they allow me to do product work because I do that also. My lighting equipment, I am mainly a Pro Photo girl. I love Pro Photo. I'm using the D1s. The modifiers, mostly I use the Beauty Dish with the grid. The 5-foot Octa I really love. The medium and XL deep umbrellas with diffusers, I really, really love. The umbrellas are more so of the ones that I would do a light on top and then one here because it gives a nice overhead light look depending on how you do it. It can almost mimic sunlight a little bit. I recently got to test out the Ellen Chrome 1. I really enjoyed that as well, so that is definitely in my arsenal. I love that it's super lightweight and it is battery powered, so if I do go outside, I can just take that one and I don't have to drag cords around with my D1. So, and for that one, I used the Snaplux and the Rotolux softbox. And that's my gear, yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you guys a bunch of my work. So I'm done talking for a moment. So this is my first shoot that I did upon coming a Z creator. I wanted to, so these were images that were used with my announcements of being a Z creator. I wanted to do like a purple theme, and I wanted to see how creative I could get with tulle. So I just went to the fabric store. Again, that's my favorite store as a photographer, to go to the fabric store. And so I got some different colors of tulle. On the first one, I just placed it around her hand and then spread it out a little bit so it looked like a little bubble arm. The second one, I had my two assistants wrapping around her to make it look like it's encasing her. And then the third one, I just made like a little blouse out of it. I just wrapped it around her and then tied it in a bow in the front. And this is what we came up with. And then just to add a little icing on the top there, I got some of the little temporary purple spray paint, not spray paint, sorry, hair color paint to go in her hair, and that just completed the look. So as far as beauty goes, this is like my standard type of beauty work that I do. I found this girl on Instagram. I loved her curly hair, and she just had this cute little, her expression. She just looked so adorable. So I definitely wanted to use her for a shoot, and this is what we came up with. So for this, I wanted to play with water in a way that I thought would be cool for beauty, thinking of water being hydrating and fresh. This is like typical standard beauty type stuff that you would see. On the first and second one, we literally had my assistant pouring water on her while I was photographing her, and the middle one was, I think, not pouring water on her for that one. So yeah. Okay, so I would say this one's more on the portrait side because this isn't, it's not necessarily beauty, it's more portrait. I just kind of wanted to, I had made this headpiece and I wanted to use it on a shoot with some gold flakes, and putting it all together, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. This one is actually on my YouTube if you want to see more of the behind the scenes of this one. So this is something recently that I done, and I really enjoy this. I wanted to play with silhouettes. So I basically, in very simple setup here, I just had a V flat, and I had a bare, just 1D1 flashing into the V flat, and then just bouncing the light back onto her. There is light leak, of course, you can see on her, and I wanted it like that. If you don't want light leak, take them away from the light. But for me, when I looked at the light leaking onto her, it just made it feel like she was glowing and a bit ethereal. So this is what we came up with this. I had this dress that had like these big, huge arms, and I knew it was going to be really pretty. In a silhouette form, it was just going to give shape and so forth. And this is what we came up with for this, and I really enjoy these. So I'm just going to show some of my editorials for magazines that I've done. So for this one, I was called Hair Pop. This was for a magazine. I knew I wanted to team up with a fashion illustrator for this one that a photographer friend had used before. So I kept that in mind when I was shooting this. So all of these little dots here on this one is from her, and this and these portions, and here is all for her. So all from her, excuse me, sorry. So I think the collaboration worked well together. I think it's great to mix media like this. So don't be afraid to, get with a graphic designer, fashion illustrator, someone else who's also in the creative field, and see what you guys can create together, because it can turn out some pretty cool stuff. Okay. So for this one, I still love this shoot actually. So the material in the back is called Mylar. Like when I posted this, everyone was like, "What material is that? I need it." So it's called Mylar, and it's like reflective, almost like a mirror, but not totally. So I knew I wanted to use this on the shoot. We had a full team, wardrobe, makeup, hair. Everyone came together really well for this. I really enjoyed doing this shoot. I actually have a little behind the scenes so you can just see how it was set up. So just literally I put 3 walls of Mylar. It took me like a full day just putting all of this Mylar everywhere. And I really loved how this turned out. The results were great. And then just one where you can just see it a bit bigger. Again, this is one of my earlier editorials that I did here upon moving to Norway. This had, I was kind of going for like a soft floral feel. So we put a lot of flowers together. I made the little flower glasses there, and yeah. This particular one I really enjoy. I love photographing black models. It just excites me. So I love when I can just showcase the beauty of black models in a way that I feel I can. So we played with a lot of makeup here, as you can see, and got super, super colorful. This model was pretty new to modeling. This was only like her second shoot, and she rocked it. I was very pleased, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed these. And this one, I wanted to do a little bit of color blocking. I love color blocking. I love when I can just put a bunch of colors in a shoot and they work well together. So for this particular one, I told the wardrobe stylist of the colors I was going to use for the backgrounds. And then she did her magic with the clothing to coincide with the colors of the background. So I didn't actually get to see the clothes until she brought them. So I was like, oh, I hope it's going to match. And it matched great. And this was a very fun shoot to do, just a lot of color everywhere. And this is a more recent shoot that I did, like, I don't know what, last month, I think? Yeah. This is called Denim Talks. I wanted to I've been wanting to do a denim story for a while, but the thing with denim is it can feel very commercial and very casual, because denim is casual. When we think of denim, we think relaxed, chilled out, not going to some swanky event. So I wanted to use denim, but I wanted it to feel fashionable. And to do that, I needed to add a lot of accessories. So I actually styled this. The first image, I cut and fringed those little fringes you see there. And on this one, I cut and pasted on all of those little denim pieces you see there. So it was a lot of labor of love work for this one, but it turned out great. And I really enjoy this. Yeah. Okay, so in late 2018, I decided that since I do beauty work, I also wanted to add in product and be able to offer that to my clients who want me to photograph the beauty models, but they also need their product photographed as well. Well, when I started product, I thought it was going to be super easy because I'm like, yeah, I know light. Yeah, I'm going to be able to do this. And that helped a bit, but it gave me a new respect for product photographers who have been doing this a long time, because there's a lot of little tips and tricks and techniques and wearing gloves the whole time so I don't get smudges, because that makes the post-processing go longer. So it was a lot of things I had to learn when I did this. But I'm very happy that I have started doing it. I really enjoy doing it, and I plan to do much more of it. So this is some of my product work. So even with product work, you can still make it like a story. You can do like color stories, or you can do, if you're going to focus on lipstick, something like this. You get a 3 set here, so you can have the product in different ways, and then a focus on the product. So even with product, you can still do stories to help sell them. So I also slightly started doing food. I haven't really committed to it yet, but for these particular shots, I teamed up with a very popular and very, very awesome food stylist here by the name of Marianne Pfeffer. She is very talented and fabulous at what she does. So she needed some new images of herself, and I wanted to get a little bit into food. So we collabed together. So she baked these beautiful cakes, and she brought all of these, she literally bought like 10 crates of different props and things that she could use into the studio. It was insane. And this is what we came up with. So I kept to my style in the styling and the lighting. So I put a curtain in the back with the purple paper, and then this one with pink. I wanted it to still fit my style of photography with people. It's just with food. So my style of photography with people is vibrant, colorful, bold. And I wanted that here. And just one more. And that's actually her hand. So okay, so just a little personal project I have going on right now. It's called a flower book, and I've been doing it for a year and a half now. I'm nowhere near being done with this. This book is going to showcase models with flowers and also floral installation pieces as well. So I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of that. Like I said, I'm not completely done. This is probably going to be another 2-3 years until I actually have all of the images, but I do plan to shoot much more for it next year. So this is one of the images. So for this, I wanted the model, I just wanted her head sticking out and a bunch of flowers all around her. And that's what we came up with. It was 2 lights here. So as you can see, she has a little blue here. I had a blue gel on one side of her, and then just a regular strobe on the other side. And as you can see, very different from the last one. Yeah, so for this one, she's just standing in front of a big, huge octabox. That's the backlight that you see. It's not a white background. It's just a big, huge octa she's standing in front of. And then I just had a beauty dish on her. I wanted clean white for this. So we put her in this dress, and then I got these cute flowers from a local store. And then this is what we came up with. And then I put a little tulle bow on her head because I felt I didn't have the tulle bow on there at first, and then I felt like something was missing on the top. And then I put that there, and that just completed the look. Another one. So for this one, we taped a lot of flowers like on a sweater because I wanted her to be wearing like a floral top for the first one. And then for the second one, I made a little headpiece out of warbler, just wrapped it around her head. And then I taped flowers all the way around that. So for this shoot was very fun to do. And this one is also on my YouTube if anyone really wants to see the ins and outs of what went on here. But basically I got the little 8-pack of mirrors from IKEA, and I bought a bunch of them. And so I basically had 2 V-flats on either side of her, and I just placed them with mirrors all the way down. And then a blue backdrop behind her. I only used 2 lights for this, so you can see she kind of has a blue rim on her, which was a blue gelled light behind her, and then she had 1 light in front of her. Shooting with mirrors is very fun. However, you have to be meticulous in cleaning it. So I had my assistant, I basically had one assistant as the window, as the mirror cleaner. After every time she touched it, there was fingerprints. So we had to wipe it down. So just keep that in mind. If you do a shoot with mirrors, you're going to need a lot of mirror wipes. Yeah. Again, same day, just a different set. You can still see the mirrors in the back there. I really like to play with reflections. I think it's very cool when it's done right. And adding a little gels there as well. I kind of wanted like a cold yet warm look with the flowers, but cold look to her tint of her. So this is what we came up with. Yeah. And this is very simple and very basic. I just wanted to put some flowers around the face with some gladiolas and some tulle, and then I put some little fake freckles on her face, and I like the way these turned out. Yeah. And this is the first shoot I did with the Ellen Chrome 1, so this shoot has a place in my heart from that. And this one as well. I just recently posted this. When I posted this, I didn't think it would get as much of a reaction as it did. I thought people would think it was a bit weird and not really like it. But it's been doing really, really well on Instagram, so it's interesting. Like images I think that are going to do really well might do well or might not, but images I don't think do well do very well. So that's fascinating. So for this one, at first she didn't have the flowers on the top and on the sides. It just was just her face. But when I took a photo of it, I didn't really like it. I felt like something was missing. So then when I jokingly put the flower on top of her head, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to sit this up here. And then I ended up liking the way it looked. So then I put the second one there as well, and then I stuck the 2 out of the side. And then when I took that photo, I was like, yeah, that's what it needed. That's what it was missing. And yeah, I really like this, how this turned out. I call it Beauty is Blind. Yeah. So final thoughts. I'm almost done. So I just want to, first final thought is keep practicing. No matter where you are in your photo journey, whether you're new, whether you're intermediate, whether you're super experienced, whatever the case may be, we're always learning new stuff. We never stop learning. Even when you think you know everything, there's something you don't know, and there's always something that you can learn. So that's my first tip of advice, keep practicing. Second is don't be afraid to hear no. Even to this day, I still get no's. You're not always going to get yeses, and that's okay. Your work is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, or they might not need you at that specific time when you reach out to them, but they might need you later. So don't get discouraged if you hear no. It's okay. Do fun projects when you can. All work and no play is no fun. So yeah, I try to get in 2 to 4 personal projects a month, depending on what else I have going on that month, because I have a few different things I do. They're all in the creative field, but I do have a few different things I do, so sometimes my time is limited. But yeah, 2 to 4 I try to do every month. I find that I can get more creative and fun with my fun projects, and that's what clients hire me for. However, that's not what they need. So, so they hire you for the fun stuff, but they don't need the fun stuff, if that makes sense. So definitely try to get in those creative days when you can, and just, shoot to your heart's desire. Get your team together, get your models together. If you do model work, if you don't do model work, if you do nature work, whatever the case may be, just try to get out and get those fun projects in when you can. Failure is your friend. And I know that sounds counterproductive. So, when you're, I've had a lot of failures with lighting, or with jobs, or just with shoots, or whatever the case may be. And it's going to happen. Not everything you do is going to be a win. Not everything is going to be great. And that's okay. But don't be afraid to fail, because if you're going to be afraid to fail, you're never going to try. Like today, I was very, very afraid to come up here and do this. I was pretty much like, okay, this is going to be a fail. But I'm up here. I'm doing it. I'm almost done. It's going great. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Lastly is stay focused on your journey and don't get too distracted. So, and this is kind of where some people have some imposter syndrome a little bit. I'm not going to go fully into imposter syndrome, but, as there's a lot of talent out there, and a lot of us follow a lot of other photographers, or we compare ourselves to other photographers, and where they might be on their journey, and you're not there yet, or whatever the case may be. And that can get one discouraged, or feeling like they're not good enough, or you're not there yet, or you're never going to get there. So it's okay to look at what others are doing, follow what they're doing, follow their journey, but stay true to yours. Don't get distracted too much, and don't get discouraged. You will get there when it is time for you to get there. Right? And yeah, thank you all. That's it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
I love your work and I love colors.
Thank you.
But have you experienced that people find it to be less serious because you use that much color?
I personally, not in my latest work, like when I was starting out, when I showed you guys the beginning images, I felt they were more a bit, I don't want to say cheesy, but I was still kind of finding myself at that age, at that time. But in my latest work, no, I haven't experienced that. At least no one has said that to me. So I feel like, again, that goes back to what I said with picking your teams. So like, even if you're using a lot of color, but you have this stunning model who is delivering in the images, your styling team is professional and serious, and they're about what they're doing. If everything comes together beautifully, then it looks great. And it doesn't look too cheesy, I don't think. I hope not.
It does not all, and it's balanced, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.